hope you guys are all doing well. This is going to be part 4 of my best of 2012 series, and I'll be talking about my favorite concealers in this video. Now, I use a lot of concealers because I've actually got really bad dark eye circles, so I found that by using concealers it really helps to cover it up and helps me look a lot more awake and a lot more refreshed when I actually go to work or when I go out. Now, the first concealer that I have to show you is the Bobbi Brown concealer duo thingy that I have here, and this is basically the first proper concealer that I actually ever purchased, and I've been using it on a daily basis almost for a while before I actually discovered the other concealer products. But basically it comes with a creamy concealer part that you can see here, and as well as a powder that also comes with it. Now, usually the powder actually comes in a few shades lighter than this, and the powder basically acts to set the concealer after you've actually put it on. Now, the reason why I actually like this concealer is because, first of all, the concealer itself is very creamy. It's very easy to apply, especially after you've put on a primer on, and when you have actually put it onto your hand, it actually doesn't really dry very quickly, so you do have time to actually spread it onto your under eye areas, as opposed to those concealers that dry up really quickly. And when you do have a primer when you do have a primer on, you'll find that it spreads out really easily. And the powder is really useful as well to actually just sort of set that concealer in place. Now, I usually use the concealer, I usually just use my finger to actually blend it out under my dark circles, whereas for the powder I usually use a brush that looks something like this. It's basically just an eyeshadow brush, and I just pat it onto wherever I've put the concealer on, just to make sure that it stays put for the whole day. The only thing that you might want to be aware of this concealer is that even though I say that it's really easy to apply on, now that usually happens only if you have a primer on before you put on the concealer. I found that before I actually started using primers on a daily basis, I found that this concealer was a little bit difficult to actually spread across your eyes. So maybe it's a little bit difficult if you don't have a primer on, but with a primer it should be able to go on really easily. So you can get this concealer at any Bobbi Brown counter, and they'll probably try to get you to buy like the corrector before you put this on, but I've never tried the corrector before, but I've just been using this concealer almost on a daily basis, and it's about 55 Sing dollars, I feel, but it has lasted me for a really long time. I think I've used this for about almost a year now, and you can see that even for the concealer part, I've not even hit pan on it, so it lasts for a really long time. So that's the first concealer that I highly recommend. The next concealer that I want to share with you is this one, which is the MAC Mineralize Concealer. Now, this is a concealer that is that's very much almost similar to my skin tone, so I got it in the shade NW35. I'm usually an NC45, so this was almost, you know, similar to my skin tone, because I thought that since the Bobbi Brown one is already a brightening one, why not try one that's, you know, just touches up the concealer during days whereby I don't feel like I want to highlight under my eyes. Now, for this particular concealer, it's just the basic concealer that you can actually get from MAC. It's really very easy to apply. It comes in this kind of applicator. You can see that it's almost similar to a nail polish applicator. I'm not sure what the technical term for this particular applicator is, but it's really easy to apply on. You just put it onto your under eyes or onto your eyelids, and it blends out really easily. Now, what I like about this concealer is that once it blends out, and given that it does blend out really easily, it actually dries up to a really nice powder form. So you don't actually feel like you're using, you know, very heavy, thick concealer onto your hands. You feel that, hey, it's just, you know, right now I don't really feel like there's any concealer on my hand right now. It just feels like a very soft, powdery finish to it. So it looks very natural onto your skin. And throughout the day, it basically stays on, doesn't crease very easily, easily. And however, you know, if you're looking for a very high coverage concealer, I wouldn't say that this would be it. It doesn't completely gets rid of your under eye circles, but it does enough to kind of cover up a little bit. I think MAC has a lot more you know, extreme or more heavier concealers that you can actually go for if you're looking for like full total coverage for your eyes. But for me, this is really just perfect. It just feels like, you know, very light and very natural on you. Now the third concealer that I would like to share would be this concealer. I'm not very sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's called Okuma concealer, and it looks something like this. I actually got this in one of my beauty boxes. I think it was Vanity. So as you can see, the shade is very light. This is in the, I think the shade is type 2. I'm not very sure, but it says type 2 here, so I think that could be the shade. It is a Korean brand, and the applicator comes, it looks something like this. It's sort of like a lip gloss applicator, and the way that I apply it would be to just put a little bit on my finger, and just, as you can see there, it's really light for my skin tone, and then you just basically, it's very light, but it might not be the most perfect color for my skin tone, but when I actually use it and I put powders after that to set it, it actually has a very nice brightening effect on it. And I realized that it's a pretty heavy duty concealer, so if you're looking for something that's high coverage and something that's affordable, you might actually want to check this out. You can find this in Sasa, I believe. I actually saw this in Sasa, and they sell it for about 19.90 Sing. So definitely check it out if you're in the market for something that is high coverage and, you know, very good to use, easy, very blendable, and something that is affordable as well. So this is the Okuma concealer that I really like, and it basically stays out throughout the day as well. It doesn't really, you know, you can still see that you have a little bit of concealer and still does what it's supposed to do until the end of the day. So that's why I like this one. So the fourth and last concealer that I have to share with you is actually a late entry, and this is the Essence Forget It 3-in-1 concealer. Now I actually just started using this a couple of weeks back, and I found that I really liked it. I bought this a really long time ago, but I just didn't really use it because I didn't think much of it. And basically it's by the brand Essence, and you guys must have heard me talk about this a lot because I really like the brand. It's very affordable. It sells really good products as well. So I got this a really long time ago, and it basically looks like this. When you open it up, it has 3 different shades to it. So it's one of those concealers whereby each shade has a different function for it. So the green shade here is supposed to cover up any redness that you have. The beige one that you have would be to cover any blemishes that you have, and the pink one would be to cover any to actually cover your dark circles. So in terms of the application and everything, it's pretty straightforward. You can use like a brush, or you can actually just use your fingers to actually apply, which I usually do. It's very creamy, and it applies really smoothly. It just applies very easily onto your skin. So when I first got this, I actually used the red one for my under eyes because that's what they say that you're supposed to do. But recently I rediscovered this, and I actually used the beige one to cover my under eyes on top of the red one, and it just covers up my dark circles like a dream. So what I like about this is that it really covers up your dark circles very easily, especially with the beige one. And I think that, you know, even though the color looks kind of dark here, I think it pretty much will be able to cover any type of skin tone or any type of skin type that you have. It's really affordable. I must not have paid more than $5 for this, so I highly recommend this for you to check it out if you're in the market to actually just try to start using concealers. This would be a good concealer to start off with. Highly recommend it. So that was my video on my favorite concealers for 2012. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, and if you're looking for a new concealer, I hope that you got some new ideas. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I'll be happy to answer any of that. And if you enjoyed watching this video, do click on the like button and subscribe to my channel if you want more. See you soon. Bye.